Have you ever seen that tragic clip of a streamer completely losing his mind and shaving his head in pure ecstasy after getting a 100,000 Z dollar donation from Mr. Beast? I mean, sure, it's a dead currency now, but based on the 2008 exchange rates, he raked in a colossal profit of exactly 0.000286 cents. Look at him. He's literally crying tears of joy. Let's rewind. Believe it or not, the Zimbabwean dollar, a currency eventually worth less than actual literal garbage, once went toe-to-toe with the US dollar. And this entire tragedy traces back to one man. In the 1980s, Robert Mugabe overthrew the previous regime and became president. But he was a bit special. The moment he got OP, he essentially typed in a cheat code to freeze his presidential term timer indefinitely.
The game is
like,
frozen.
definitely not a dictator, though, probably. Anyway, he had a slight grievance. At the time, 1% of white farmers owned 70% of Zimbabwe's land, a leftover from the previous, highly discriminatory Rhodesian government. Oh boy, he essentially beat up the white farmers, exiled them, divided the prime real estate among his cronies, and tossed whatever scraps were left to 1.2 million ordinary citizens. There was a tiny glitch in the system. The new landowners had absolutely zero farming knowledge. Agricultural production essentially flatlined overnight, and since agriculture was Zimbabwe's biggest hard carry, the entire economy threw the game. Foreign currency dried up instantly. Now, with zero tax revenue coming in, he still had to pay government employees and clear national debts. And this is where Mugabe comes up with the ultimate, we got no money, why don't we just craft them? He immediately fired up the national money printers to max capacity, spilling out endless banknotes to pay the civil servants. Those officials then took that fresh paper to buy stuff up Zimazon or down at Walzards. But then weird things started happening. No production meant no inventory. So that Z-Tendo Switch you bought yesterday, today it's double the price. Tomorrow it's quadruple, 8 times, 16, 32, and thus began the most spectacular fireworks show in economic history, hyperinflation. Overnight, every Zimbabwean citizen became a math prodigy. When yesterday's $100 bill isn't even worth today's $1, there is only one thing to do when you get your paycheck. Sprint to the grocery store without even pausing to breathe and panic buy literally anything. Because prices would hike again by the afternoon. You'd experience the absolute miracle of ordering a morning coffee for $500 million only to be handed a bill for $600 million by the time you finish drinking it. Eventually, people ditched wallets entirely, hauling stacks of cash in reusable grocery bags or literal wheelbarrows. If you dropped a fat stack of bills on the street, no one would even bother picking it up. Why? Because the cost of the bag to hold it and the physical calories burned bending over, they were worth more than the cash itself. Mugabe stopped stealing the worthless money and started targeting the rubber bands holding it together. Realizing the mess, Mugabe's government rolled out a solution that was nothing short of an absolute Chad move. Rising prices are the problem. Just make it illegal to raise prices, duh! The government issued a nationwide price freeze, cut raising prices, straight to jail. So what did the merchants do? Rather than selling at a massive loss, they just locked their doors and hid their inventory. Supermarket shelves went totally bare. Citizens were thrown into a literal zombie scenario, starving with pockets full of cash, because there were zero basic necessities left to buy. But Mugabe's creative economy didn't stop there. Running out of numbers because money is worthless, just slap some more zeros on it and print fresh batches. The government attempted redenomination, chopping zeros off the currency 3 separate times ever. The money printer was going way faster than they could delete the zeros. Eventually, if you scrounged up 100 trillion notes of a $1 bill that already had 25 zeros compressed out of it, you could buy maybe 3 eggs. They'll come back tomorrow and you can only afford 2. Market price. Finally, in 2009, even the government got exhausted and threw in the towel. They officially sunset the Zimbabwean dollar and just started using US dollars and South African rand instead. Fast forward a few years, Mugabe, 30 years deep into his presidency, got his OP revoked the exact same way he got them, and died shortly after. Now the clock in Zimbabwe is ticking again. If he had just watched one basic economics video on YouTube, maybe none of this would have happened. But hey, at least he succeeded in turning his national currency into the world's most famous monopoly money, securing his legacy as the ultimate cautionary tale in every economics textbook forever.